Since we're doing another guide on a Xenosaga character, I just wanted to remind you guys one final time that I am doing a giveaway of these Xenosaga games for Christmas. Please check out the description below to find out how to enter if you are interested in that. These games are great and I want you to experience it. One of the ways you can enter is of course buying merch. It will give you a ton of entries and we have some new designs up in the shop now, so I hope you will check it out. Let's get into the video. If there's any blade in this game who personifies offense and damage more than anyone else, it would have to be T-elos. This dark version of Cosmos is somehow the second most popular Xenosaga character, despite only appearing in one game in the series and not being hugely important, but I guess she has a cool design, so that counts for something. T-elos is a pretty solid A tier blade and extremely good, even if her tier ranking may seem weird after you see what she can do. She truly can output damage like no one else in the game. In this video, we're going to be discussing T-elos, taking a look at her inspirations and origins, discussing her strengths and weaknesses, and how to use her most effectively. If you enjoy this type of guide content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and look forward to all of the future blades, both good and bad, because it does help out so much. Let's get into this! So, T-elos is a Great Axe type weapon, now the second that we have discussed. Great Axes are known by their slower but powerful attacks, along with shorter arc cooldowns and high critical hit rate. With the Tachyon chip, T-elos can reach an auto attack stat of nearly 1700, which is massive. Her critical hit rate can max out at 40% with a Moon Matter core chip, and her block rate isn't very spectacular, not that she really needs to worry about that anyway. Her defenses are the same as 2020 tier that Cosmos is in, but she doesn't have a damage reduction ability, so I guess she'll just have to settle for having higher than average defenses for an attacker class blade. How terrible. Her stat modifier is 15% strength, which is useful for her, and her cooldown is 4, being about the average. But of course, the skill tree is what really sets blades apart, so let's take a look at what that has in store for T-elos. T-elos' first skill is Heartbreaker. In Xenosaga, this is a skill that greatly increases the break attack power of her moves. Break in that game is a 2-turn incapacitation tool, so it's effective at making an opponent a non-factor. Considering Xenoblade 2 also has a very important break status, I am not sure why this skill has nothing to do with breaking, but its actual effect is increasing damage for each enemy incapacitated by 60% at level 1, rising up to 100% at level 5, and it maxes out at 300% at all levels. This skill is a bit situational, but if you are in a multi-enemy fight, T-elos will become the Reaper of Worlds after killing just a few enemies. A 300% damage boost is massive on her, and she will start hitting like a truck very fast. This works very well in challenge mode, where the enemy count in combat applies through every phase of a fight, making T-elos do massive damage when near the final phases when the tougher enemies come out. T-elos can easily hit damage caps on arts with this skill alone when it's maxed out, and this skill alone will put her ahead of every other axe blade in DPS when the requirement is met. And we haven't even gotten to her other two skills yet. Now this does have the weakness of not being useful in single enemy fights, but T-elos is good enough you probably won't need it anyway. All around, great skill and helps T-elos be one of the most terrifying blades in the entire game. T-elos' second skill is Heaven's Tracker. In Xenosaga, this skill gives you guaranteed critical hit rates while the aura is active. Truth be told, I would have likely preferred that over what we got, because T-elos with guaranteed critical hits would be even more horrifying than what she already is. This skill is a great skill on paper, it's just weird and I personally don't like it very much. It will increase damage by 100% when any of the 3 drivers in combat fall in battle at level 1, rising up to 200% at level 5, and capping out at 500% total. It will persist if you revive them as well. On the upside, 500% additive is absolutely massive, and combined with the 300% from her other skill, gives T-elos the highest additive damage total in the game from her skill tree effects. On the downside, this skill literally requires you to play poorly and die, or have allies die to get the effect from it. On the upside, it's a good safety net if you're struggling in a fight, because it will increase your damage and let you push through. On the downside, come on dude, you have to die. Like I said, I would have preferred the guaranteed crits. I actually think it would have made T-elos even better than this skill did, despite the 500% additive bonus, because there's no way to really die in any optimal setting and have it be fast, so this skill doesn't end up being that useful in that sense. Casually, it is an amazing skill, and an amazing damage increase at the very least. T-elos' final skill is Phase Transition Tech. This is exactly the same as Cosmos' skill, which makes her annul all enemy defense, and deal an additional 60% special damage at level 1, rising up to 100% at level 5. Once again, annulling enemy defense is incredibly good. No matter what defensive values an enemy has, T-elos will pierce right through it on every art and every special. This makes her hit very hard no matter the circumstance because of the other positives to her weapon and kit, and this is really just an amazing skill all around. T-elos has a built-in phase transfer cannon in her level 4, which we'll discuss a bit later. This is a fantastic skill, and combined with her other two skills, make T-elos one of the hardest hitting blades in the game, and the hardest if you are able to get all of her added totals, and it's not particularly close either. But skills aren't everything. Let's take a look at her specials. T-elos' level 1 special is Echidna. This is a slashing and kicking attack, and it's a very powerful option for T-elos because it's pretty dang fast and increases critical damage by 85%. Now, it's only 2 hits, which means it's not a fantastic option for chain attacks despite T-elos' amazing damage, but it's still a very powerful special for general use. Critical damage is always useful, and this attack will hurt a lot. It comes with a 25% critical hit modifier to get them more often, and has an above average damage ratio of 330 at level 1, 490 at level 5, and 528 at max affinity. You may recognize those numbers because they are shared with Cosmos. Every special ratio she has is shared, in fact. Isn't that nice? T-elos' level 2 special is Magdalene 16. This special is a 7-hit ether-based special that has a 25% critical hit modifier and another really high damage ratio of 480 at level 1, 640 at level 5, and 696 at max affinity. It has a very small damage radius as well for the most minor of area of effect, and the 7 hits makes it a great option for chain attacks since it's usually an easy 7 hits of damage cap. The 25% critical hit modifier makes crit even more valuable on T-elos as well, and will ensure the special hits as hard as possible. Since most dangerous enemies are also higher level, it should be easy to get this 100% extra damage bonus effect so it hits for as much as possible. All around, another good special. T-elos' level 3 special is T-Skyla. This is an interesting attack that didn't get to keep its interesting animation when added to Xenoblade 2. Can't imagine why that is, but as you might expect, this is another very powerful special. It's 4 hits, so not that amazing for level 3s and chain attacks, but it has a huge damage ratio of 650 at level 1, 850 at level 5, and 884 at max affinity, and it has the Gardenol effect, ensuring you bypass all block rate enemies have to always do as much damage as possible. It even has a massive 100% critical hit modifier to double your critical hit rate for this special, and a decent radius for area of effect. This special absolutely will hurt, and can be used to have really powerful blade combos. T-elos' level 4 special is Euteneritus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, I hope I am. Here's the phase transfer cannon. This attack is basically the win button that can destroy anything. In Xenoblade 2, it is a very powerful level 4 with a massive damage ratio of 1219, and it has a Gardenol as its bonus effect once again. It is also one of the only level 4 special moves with an area of effect radius on it, making it additionally special. It has a 60% critical hit mod, and whenever you need damage, this special has you covered. Being level 4, you can also freeze driver combos and go invincible since you'll need to dodge attacks given how you will never have aggro with this character. I don't really have a ton more to say about this. Her specials are all fantastic damage options you can use pretty much whenever. They will hurt, they will get the job done, and when backed up by all of her additives, her level 4 is the strongest special in the entire game. You can actually overflow damage with it if you remove the cap. It is that good. For setting up T-elos, you absolutely want the Tachyon chip. The extra 25% critical damage is amazing for her, giving all of her added to damage totals, and the extra 13% critical hit rate on Moon Matter simply isn't worth it over the extra attack and damage. Do not use anything else. For Aux cores, Affinity Max Attack is a must to get as much damage out of her as possible, and Outdoor-Indoor Attack are another great option for damage. In the last slot, I am currently running Night Vision because accuracy can be an issue with her, and hitting attacks is always going to be important. Feel free to run more damage or a barrier or something though if you think it's needed, maybe even crit rate because she is very good with extra critical hit rate. For my accessories, Crimson Headband is an obvious choice. She will get so much out of critical damage acting as an independent multiplier, and the other 2 accessories will function similarly. Axe Attachment will boost my total auto attack, making the base that gets multiplied by all of the additives and all the critical damage, and of course, all of the damage ratio with Noise Dampener. T-elos' arts can be even stronger within specials with a Noise Dampener, as you can all get damage caps really easily with this if all the conditions are met, and output a ton of DPS that no other blade could ever hope to match. To help in that endeavor, Art Recharge is amazing for making sure you do as much DPS as possible in the pouch item slots, and it makes sure you always have your arts up. With all of that done, let's take a look at how to use T-elos practically. You know, normally in these videos I show off the blade chain attacking, but I don't think we need to do that with T-elos, so we're going to have a chain attack free video. You know she can be good in chain attacks, you know she can easily hit damage cap on her specials, so instead, let's just show off the sheer power of T-elos when she's using her arts and specials just in general combat. So first of all, I'm gonna just kill these random 3 enemies that are just conveniently placed next to Tyranitar, so we can just show off T-elos' amazing damage potential against a nice control enemy here. Of course, Tora is going to somehow not break him with the Master Scope. I don't know how that happens, but you can already see right here, I'm already doing a massive amount of damage. We don't have any extra additives from dying or anything. We just damage cap the Raging Charge right there. No issues. Pretty easy to do. No problem at all. So you can already see right here, T-elos is a huge damage dealer. I mean, when we can get these crits, we can do a ton of damage to her. I'm using my level 4 now on the break to get this fusion combo set up so we can finish this fight in just a little bit after this. We haven't used any chain attack at all. We're just basically just doing whatever damage we can with T-elos' pure art damage. And now we're going to have the Ultra Annihilation Flare. So T-elos has enough defense to survive this at full health. But if an ally dies, it doesn't matter because we get even more damage after that. And that ends up being exactly what happens with Rex, which is going to increase our damage the rest of the fight, however long that might be. It's maybe 1 more art or 2 more arts. So that death is all planned. That is one of the great things about T-elos. You can just set up your allies to die, and it doesn't even matter that much because you'll just get more damage out of that. To show that off a little bit better, I want to try this Reinventing the Gogol challenge for a couple reasons. I've set myself up in a way where if I purposely don't attack enemies at certain times, they'll actually have the chance to kill me in this challenge, and if they do that, I can get revived by my allies, of course. But then, of course, they'll be able to, or T-elos will be able to do even more damage thanks to that ability to gain more damage when you die. So I'm kind of setting up myself to die on purpose, so I can just pretend to not be bad at the game from dying for once. That's always been my plan here. So I'm just kind of like not really like attacking much. I'm trying to purposely die. I'm not using any arts right now, as you might notice. And I think I end up either dying here or getting the lifeline. I got the unbeatable lifeline, so I don't end up dying here. But now with the lifeline gone, I'll die every other time that I die or get to a point where I can die. I won't have that lifeline anymore, so I'll be able to, in the next 2 phases, get my damage additive up from dying, which is very useful, as you might imagine. So in the Wolfmaster phase, we've already got the 300% damage bonus for killing enemies, by the way, so that's going to be applied the rest of the fight. Now I'm just trying to die to the Wolfs and the Wolfmaster. Shouldn't be too hard to do. We're able to do it pretty easily without using many arts. We're going to get revived here, and the other good thing is we can really get to max affinity really quickly again, because if you kill enemies, you get a big burst of affinity. You're going to see right here, I'm going to get to max affinity right now. Even though I just died, I'm already back at max affinity again. And we're going to die again and do the same thing again, because why not? So, one cool thing about Carlos, the enemy at the end of this challenge, is that he enrages to light element and will take increased damage from dark element. So, T-elos can hurt him even more than she already is, which is pretty incredible. Like, you can start damage capping individual hits of Berserker Slash against him, which is really, really amazing, as you might imagine. So I just died the second time. We're going to get 400% damage bonus. We're not going to get to the full 500, but I mean, we've already got 700 total, so that extra 100% is not going to be doing that much for us at this point. I think we got plenty of damage at this point. We got plenty to show off what we want to show off, so we're just going to kill the Hunting Rugels and get ready to show off T-elos' massive, amazing damage potential. So the one thing you have to watch out for is make sure you don't get party wiped, or make sure you don't lose your party meter or something like that. That is the one thing that can really hamper T-elos' dying strategies to do as much damage as possible. And ideally you don't want to die, and I'll be able to show off that in this video as well, how you can use T-elos and still do a decent amount of damage to enemies without dying if you're able to do it properly. You're going to see right here my Berserker Slash, individual hits do 500,000. Or maybe, never mind, maybe that was Raging Charge. Okay, so Raging Charge, easy damage cap on the topple here, as you might imagine. Now my Berserker Slashes are doing a pretty significant amount, 700,000 here on a movable air Carlos, before he even enrages, just on the launch right there. I am running out of health here, but that's okay, because if I do end up dying, as you know, I can just revive myself and get more damage out of it, so we're not worried about that at all. I think he's going to enrage after this, and we're going to be doing even more damage to him, which is going to be amazing. So, you just saw right there the spinning elbow. I just damage capped both hits of that. The first hit wasn't even a crit, and I still damage cap it. And you can do this on Bringer of Chaos as well. This was currently on normal mode, but even on Bringer of Chaos, where art spam is actually the viable strategy, you can do this as well. Now, I did not have the dying additives on Bringer of Chaos. I'm going to show that off now really quickly. But you're going to be able to see, I'm going to be able to do a ton of damage to even still. That was 933,000 with the Raging Charge without the 400% dying additive in this fight. And once he enrages, I'll still be able to damage cap some hits of Berserker Slash just because of how broken T-elos is and how much extra damage you can do to enemies when they enrage. So Carlos has 30-30 defenses, but T-elos cuts right through that, making her an additionally great option of art spamming in this challenge. I just did damage cap on the launch with Raging Charge. Yeah, we're having a good time. This isn't too bad at all, as you might imagine. T-elos is pretty much all about the damage. She works very well with Fiora, giving her extra critical hit rate. She works very well with Tora, providing break and launch force, and she has a great topple art on Zeke. She has the great topple plus art. She has pretty much everything amazing to going for her. So one cool thing about this Bring Your Chaos fight is that since Tora died, I'll actually be doing additional damage when I can swap back to T-elos here. I swapped to Elma really quickly for the evasion because Wild Wave is like the most dangerous attack in the entire game. So you see, I didn't even crit those attacks, and I was still doing like over 600,000 with them individual hits of Berserker Slash. That's pretty incredible. That means my crits are easy damage cap no matter what, even without any kind of fusion combo, no topples, no launches. We're still getting these big damage caps in here. T-elos is pretty much a damage machine if you can set up her additives. Any multi-enemy fight, any fight where you might die a lot, she is a perfect blade to just do a ton of DPS, which no other blade can match. We're damage capping twice on the same art. No other blade can do that. Can you believe this blade is only A tier because other blades actually end up being more useful overall? As it turns out, pure damage isn't always the greatest thing in every single challenge, but it does have her uses. She's completely optimal in this challenge that I just showed off, Reinventing the Gogol. And for general casual use, she's still just extremely good overall. I hope you guys have learned something from watching this guide and know how to use T-elos a little bit better to really take advantage of all of her strengths. If you enjoyed this type of guide content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, comment down below, like the video, and do whatever else you want to do to support me. Enter that Xenosaga giveaway, buy the merchandise, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to show myself too hard. It's probably getting old at this point. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate all of the support, and have a blessed day.